ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Member of Parliament of the Opposition Party in Kenya, Honorable Dennis Akumu. I'm very, very privileged to be here today to speak before this honorable audience. And this actually gives me the morale to work so hard and to do whatever I'm doing alongside my studies as a lawyer. And Honorable Akumu, my speech is a very short speech. And just as the Deputy South African High Commissioner spoke the other day, he said that he was not born to read from papers. And surely, if we look at African people back at home, we have got a social spectrum whereby we don't need to read papers when we are speaking to our parents, our families, and so forth. But because we are in a wonderland, the land of the Queen, please do bear with me. I'll read this speech for a very, very short time. Now, my question is, on what does the state in today's world rely for? It is legitimacy. Two things. First, it relies for its primary source of legitimacy on the perception by its subjects that it represents their will. In short, do the subjects see the states under whose rule they live to be democratic? And those are the subjects of Kenya, and that is the democracy of Kenya. Secondly, is the state recognized by the international community? If it is, then a state with little or no claim to be such domestically can hold on to power and lay claim to the title of state in the international community. It is my contention that Kenya is such a state where there is persistent violation of human rights, a state where there is broad daylight dictatorship, a state where politicians are bribed in order to fulfill some obligations, a state where there is persistent land demarcation. And let me assure you today that in a few days to come, all the graveyards that are in Kenya today, especially where the heroes were buried from the First World War and Second World War, that land is going to be demarcated between those filthy politicians. So it's my contention to ask the British government, the Canadian, and those involved in those two honorable wars to liberate the people, find out where they're going to rebury those people who are those universities today, and even here as we talk, policemen are everywhere. My question is, why can't we have those policemen turn into students so that they can be taught reality to express legitimacy within the Kenyan society? Why do these policemen live on the campus? What do they want there if they don't have capacity to study? I was a policeman before, and I was a bad one. I learned from my past mistakes, and I was persecuted for that. I came in exile and I said, look, I've been in the universities abusing students, chaining them. Why can't I be like those who have been there before? I can assure you, I worked as a night watchman in this country. I got a first class LLB honors, and I'm now doing my master's. So Kenyan police, wake up.
In this kind of academic situation, it is therefore not difficult to see the instability in our universities and continuous harassment, intimidation, persecution of students is always there in Kenya. It's not like here in SOAS. You have the freedom, you can do whatever you want, anything. In Kenya, to have a place like this is committing a crime. When you make a lecture like this, is committing a crime. I'm telling you, if you don't believe this, go back, refer to Amnesty International report. You'll read.
Before going back to my speech, my three colleagues that have spoken here are from Kenya. I don't want Kenyans who are going to read this to think I came to dwell on Pan-Africanism and didn't talk on Kenyan problem. You probably don't know, but I was here, not in this hall, but this vicinity, 58. I was already part of the struggle for the liberation in Kenya. 59, I addressed a group of Kenyans here when the late Odinga's passport had been taken. And there was a big protest here. I even went to Dockland. There was a fear that I would be arrested, but I said, no, I was General Secretary Wajackoyah. I better go back and be arrested. And I went back. And thank God the Wajackoyah supported me as judge for incitement. And they all came to court in Mombasa. It was not easy to lock 6,000 people. So I wasn't. Now, I want to agree everything you've said. And in fact, the government of Moi has perfected mischievousness so well that they can even pay for this type of seminar to go and condemn them because they have no meaning to them. So listen to me carefully. And I like you, the three that I see are here, operating here. That was coming in my operative part of my speech conclusion. The Kenyans that are here, the Africans that are here. Try and concretize what you are trying to say here. Our biggest problem in Kenya, okay, it's true, it's Moi and the police, or you can go and pass things. You can get a march, you can get a rally, you can get millions if you have a referendum today. But we even had vote. Nearly 70% of Kenyans voted against the government that's ruling us today. But the thing is, it doesn't listen. Our biggest problem, apart from Moi, and people are changing. I think the police have relatives among us, the army have relatives among us, they're seeing the things they're being changed. The biggest problem is the British government. They have definite economic and other human interests. So when you're saying, I mean, it's good to be in exile, Kenyatta knew before he changed, because he changed. They were also in exile here. London was the base of the campaign for liberation of Africa against colonialism. But the British was the biggest slave master, the biggest colonial power, and so on. Now, as we are talking today against neocolonialism, operation today, it is the British. The British High Commissioner, when I left yesterday, was praising Kenya government for good reforms, doing everything well. The most corrupt, number 3 in the whole world. It is Pakistan, it is Nigeria, it's Ghana. No, it's Kenya. No, it's not me saying it. It's published. It's the United Nations. The most corrupt, but you know the British High Commissioner is saying, good reform, perfect. It's published when I left yesterday. Not only that, I mean, I'm not a racist. I know we need all this. But you know the British government wants us to keep 40,000 Asians who have British passports. They pay our government to keep those. The money that is being siphoned out of the country has been researched. Those British citizens today control 70% of trade in Kenya. The money being siphoned is about 60-70%. So it's not just coming here making resolutions saying this should be done. I think something should be done